Hey guys, welcome back to This Week in Barbecue, the barbecue focused podcast with hot news and even hotter takes. Today we are shining a light on Hill City Chop House, a family owned barbecue spot out of Taylor, Texas, led by the owner and pitmaster, Dustin Martin. What started from a passion for smoked meat and catering operation built with Nicole Martin has turned into a brick and mortar restaurant that has quickly earned real attention across Texas barbecue landscape, which we've reported on and we all know is very difficult to do.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about the build, the jump from catering to restaurant life, and what it takes to grow the spotlight when things get bigger and brighter along the way. Dustin, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on and talk with me today for
yeah,
This Week
man.
in Barbecue. Please tell the people a bit about yourself.
Hello. Name's Dustin Martin. My wife and I, Nicole, we got our two little kids that we've had pretty much the whole time since we kind of jumped over to the restaurant. Sad news about that is, I'll fill you, kind of give you up to date, is we
Please.
closed the brick and mortar on the Sunday after Christmas. So December 29th was our last day. We were there for 3.5 years. It just wasn't the right fit for us. Even after getting in the top 25 and getting the honorable mentions and stuff like that, it was cool and it brought a little wave of
Mhm.
people in. But just where we were, it wasn't enough foot traffic in the area that we were at to just continue to be able to do that. And on top of that, our trailer and our catering and private events just were going through the roofs. And it was like, we know what we're doing at those events and we know how many people we're cooking for at those. Whereas, at the brick and mortar, it was kind of a guessing game and it was tough for us for a little while. We kind of made the ultimate decision as us and a family. Is like, I'm spending every day there from 4 in the morning till midnight cooking and prepping, and then not seeing the kids. And then when I am seeing the kids, they're up there at the restaurant, running around while I'm trying to chop on the board and I'm yelling at them. And so we just kind of discovered that, like, going back to our roots, we've kind of cooked and catered for the past 15 years for friends and parties and our friends' dirt bike races and just random events. And kind of realize that's where we enjoy it the most and find the passion in being right there. It's more intimate with people. It's yeah, the restaurant was great having people coming in and having regulars, but man, getting to be out like face to face with them and cooking at the events and doing the stuff that we get to do, it makes us feel a lot better about what we're doing. So
No, I appreciate that and thank you for the update. I myself am a huge advocate of the catering chain for
yeah,
what we do.
yeah,
We oftentimes get asked, "Oh, we need the brick and mortars back." No, 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 no. I run the business and still do operate based off numbers, and you can't tell me that catering doesn't trump restaurant every single day of the week. It's easy.
every day, yeah.
It's lower overhead. It's easier forecast, and when you're running that P&L, goodness gracious,
Well,
it's
at the restaurant,
catering.
we had six people there at all times. And some days, we're not having even six tables, and it was really
Yeah,
weird. Some days it was great. And then majority of the days was just kind of what are we doing here? Why are we cooking this much brisket for this amount of people coming in? Like, we need to change something. And what is it going to be? And it kind of was just like, reduce your employees and reduce what we know get to what we know we can handle and do, and then kind of run with it from there. And it's been cool because we closed at Christmas at the restaurant, but we still have those people message us every week, and they're like, "Hey, where y'all's trailer going to be set up? Where can we get your food? If we're not going to set up the trailer, can you cook food and can we come pick it up from you?" It's
yeah.
like, so it's cool having that still.
No,
So
I love that. I love that.
yeah.
So take me back to the beginning. When did smoking meat shift from a passion into something you knew you had a real business with? Like, what was the catalyst to get you into it, and what made you shift over?
Okay, so 2011, I moved to North Dakota, and
Wow.
yeah, it was a drastic move. But it was an opportunity I had from one of my best friends that said, "Hey, you want to come run this portion of our company up here in the north, and we'll kind of let you run with it, and you do your thing." And I did, and we went up to North Dakota, and it was just all oil field work. There was not a whole lot of just time off, but the time that we did have off, there wasn't any really restaurants in Williston, North Dakota when we moved up there. So we towed a smoker up there and a trailer full of wood because you also can't really get firewood to cook with up there in North Dakota either. It's kind of weird. It's a
Yeah.
strange place. There's not a lot of trees up there, and they are pine trees, which you don't want to cook with.
Only thing that's good for is firewood.
That's right. So up there we started cooking, and we had a lot of oil field clients that would come to our house on the weekends, and we would cook, and they would always be like, "Who? is making this food? Who's doing this?" They're like, "It's not you, you little hippie kid. You ain't cooking this food." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's me cooking it." And it kind of went from, "Hey, can you cook for my kid's birthday party?" to, "Okay, well, we've got an event. Hey, we're doing a rib cook off. Hey," and then we started winning the competitions up there. The Texas boys cooking and barbecue competitions in North Dakota, which
Hmm.
isn't really heard of a whole bunch up there. Chili cook-offs they do a lot of, but we started doing that, and when the oil kind of slowed down, 2016, I moved back home, and I was like, I still had people saying, "Hey, man, you want to cook for a party for us here in Texas?" So I'm like, you know what? I got to go get a smoker trailer. So I went and bought a little bitty trailered smoker that was on a jet ski trailer. It was like a 190
Wow.
gallon offset, and I was over the moon with it, man. And we had it for like 5 years cooking everything on it, and I could only hold 3 briskets on it at a time, and it was max capacity, and we just kept on doing that and doing that, and then it got to the point where I was like, "Wait, we need a bigger smoker." We got people asking us every weekend to cook for something.
Mhm.
When we had Monday to Friday jobs at another company, and it wasn't have anything to do with food. And then on Friday we would get home, and either whoever got home first, she would light the pit, or I would light the pit. We'd get to trimming meat and cooking it, and then it would be basically Monday to Friday at our normal job, and then Friday night to Sunday cooking food and doing it for parties. And we were making more on the Saturday Sunday cooking than we were at our normal jobs, which was really good job. So we're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And we kind of decided to dive into it more on the weekends, but keep our job. And then we had a pretty bad accident. We had a house fire, and we lost pretty much everything that we had, all of our catering equipment,
Oh,
everything
wow.
that we had kind of burned up in our garage fire on our house. Um, After that happened, we kind of stepped back, and we still had parties to cook for, and we still had a job that we had to do. And when that happened, I had a friend come in, and he said, "Hey, man, I know you kind of lost everything. We do real estate, and we found 8 different buildings that we were thinking about purchasing, and one of them's a restaurant. Would you like to come look at it with us?" And that's when we kind of fell into the restaurant. It's not like we were really looking to go jump from catering to a restaurant, but it was kind of an opportunity. It was like, "Hey, it fell in your lap. It's like, here, let's try it." Like, I'm not one to back down from a challenge. And I was like, "You know what? We can do it." And we did, and it was really cool, and it fired off, and it hit hard. And that first 6 months, Daniel, we got the top 25, and it just started. We're like, okay, we're doing the right thing. We're in the right place. We took the tragic accident of losing our house and turned it into something that we could make a living and a life off of, and get to do what we love with our family. And so we did it and pushed through and kept getting the love and from all over the place, and it's been awesome. And we just pushed as much as we could in that restaurant. But I knew when we left the restaurant I wasn't going to stop barbecue, and I think a few people thought that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, he's leaving. What's he going to do now? He's not setting his trailer up. But we've been doing private events since we stopped the restaurant, and then setting up at a couple little locations here and there, and it's just been a blast. And we're still getting the love. We're still getting the same people from the restaurant coming and seeing us. So it's and we still get to do what we love to do and be with our family. And that's kind of how it transpired from that. When the house fire happened, we kind of left our jobs and full bore straight into barbecue.
Hey, sometimes you don't get to jump, you get pushed.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a good push. And I think we needed it, and it's not giving up, just because we closed the restaurant. It's like I needed that too. I can't be perfect. Can't just do it all by yourself. We tried to tell ourselves that, and I'm like, yeah, I can do it. But it was draining me. It was draining everything, that all the life out of me that I had being there 24/7 and not getting to be with the kids the whole time. So
I completely understand. They say if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Type of thing you got to build. And it seems like you put the quality of life in the forefront. And a lot of the things we talk about on the podcast as of late is how sometimes just the notoriety of being on the list can be impactful, but sometimes it's not enough to keep the
yeah,
doors open. You've got to shift. And
yeah,
it's I don't know why in our space in our in our community you mentioned it. Oh, it's not a failure, and you're right. It's not a failure because when you've got Amazon and these big corps who are knocking out 10,000 employees with a single swipe of a pen, no one goes and says Amazon failed, they had to let go of 10,000. No, they praise them. They say, "Oh, they did the right thing. Look at them. The business is thriving," type of thing. Versus, whereas for us, taking a step back from a restaurant facility to catering and pop-ups, it's viewed as something negative. It's like, no, you've in turn gained a better quality of life. You're able to make more, and I think a lot in our space want to run to those four walls, and they don't understand getting a restaurant's like a marriage. You're stuck to that bad boy. You pray for the
Yeah,
best,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
an uphill battle along the way. What has been a battle you've had to deal with since transitioning out of the brick and mortar into this new space?
Man, I think space is one of them. Not having the full space to go and like just I'm not the cleanest guy when I'm prepping, and I'll knock it all out and then I'll swipe it all up and clean it and then go throw it in the big commercial dishwasher. Well, that's all changed a whole lot now. Now it's the three compartment sinks and it's stack everything you can and minimalize whatever you can to
You got
make
to
it
go
work.
vertical. It's a lot of vertical.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that, and then also like we don't have a caterer every day. We don't have the trailer set up every day. So like the days that we don't, I get up and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with my hands right now? Like I got to cook something. I got to do something. So I set up a little cook area in the backyard, and I've got live fire table and my smoker and a griddle and all that. And so I told her, I was like, I know people do it all the time. I was like, I'm gonna have to do something. Maybe we just set up a camera out back and start doing little backyard cooks again, or do something. But I think that's the only thing is not the space and then not doing it every day because I was just on a routine for 3 years of getting up. I was there at 3:30 in the morning until we were closed. But what we were doing is we were running the restaurant. We were open 11 to 3, and then at 3 we close, and then I go open the food trailer at one of our friends' bars. It's a little pub here in Granbury. It's called Warren's Backyard. Awesome place, live music. It's we do live crawfish there every Sunday, um, and they've always taken care of us, and that's like we would go from the restaurant straight to trailer, and that it's a bar, so you're serving food from 4 until midnight, and then everybody's leaving the bar, and then going home. The kids are asleep. You rest for 2 or 3 hours and get up and go light the fire again and do it all over again. It was that was where I got on the routine of just doing the same thing, and now it's like I can wake up and I can go sit on the back porch and hang out with my dogs or play with the kids. Excuse me, and then yeah, so I don't know. The struggle.
No,
It was different, and it was hard to kind of get onto this new routine. But it's also great. It's a way better feeling.
that's good. That's what
So
it's all about.
yeah, yeah,
You're the first, one of the first we've talked to that have had that notoriety on the list, the list, and it's almost like share, right? You don't have to say much more. You just say the list, and everybody knows what list
yeah,
you're talking
yeah,
about, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
did that type of recognition create any pressure, or was it a validation? Was it a bit of both, or unexpected? Because, like you said, it was 6 months in, and there's places
That's
going
what it
years
was.
that
It was
never did it.
unexpected. I'm like, there's no way. Yeah, it'd be cool to be on a list. Like the guys, like there's not one of the guys that made that list, or the ones that were mentioned or not on it, that were like at any festivals that we are that don't treat you like family. Everyone deserves notoriety in what they're doing because what we're doing is not easy. And anyone that says it's easy to do this is they're lying to you.
They've
Um,
never run a pit.
and so everyone deserves to be mentioned. Everyone is doing this for their family and to make a living and to do something that they love to do. Like at least I hope they are. I mean, that's what we're doing it for. So just to get to do that, to get the invites, to do something like this with you, to with Andy and Melissa, they've been the best people to us. They've been the biggest supporters of us. Um, I saw Andy came and visited us yesterday. Right before I
Yeah,
was doing crawfish. It's just cool to have those people and those friends, and I gain them through cooking and just kind of hanging out and talking to people, and that's what I love about the festivals and the trailer and not being in behind the counter in the restaurant. You get to be out front and you get to meet and mingle with the people and give them a little bit of your passion and what you love to do. And anytime I hand someone something to eat and they look at me and they're like, goodness, what is this? And that's my validation. I did it. I did what I was supposed to do.
There it is. That's
So
the way.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, what's often misunderstood because running a business is already hard. I can relate to you on that side. I wish more people, I wish more customers would run a restaurant or food business before they came into one
Yeah.
because it would change everything.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what do you think is one of the most common misconceptions or something that's misunderstood about running, more importantly, a family barbecue business like what you and
Well,
Nicole?
I think some people that are new to it, we were new to the restaurant side of it, but I knew coming in, I'm like, we can do this and we can knock it out. But of course, when we started, that's when brisket was like 270 or 290 a pound, and turkey was nothing either. And so it wasn't a big deal. And I'm like, man, these are great days. Like we were doing some days where we were cooking like 15 to 18 briskets in a day. And like for us, that's huge for us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then the last year we got down there where it was like 4 to 6 maybe briskets. And I'm like, man, I know it's changed. And we tried to keep our prices the same and all that. But I would just say people think you're just like, oh, you own a restaurant, you've got money, you can do whatever you want to do. Like, well, you get to do whatever, man. You're the guy. And I'm like, no,
Oh,
I'm literally back here trying to figure out how to make money and how to pay the bills and how to fill up the propane tank to get the gas for the griddle. And yeah, it's just that money doesn't fly in like people think it does.
no, I mean the list can make or break or typically it make. I've never seen it break anyone not being on there, but especially right now, we've been harping on brisket here on the
Yeah,
pod a
yeah,
lot, and passing the buck to Texas because it's been so crazy. We're finding that restaurants are literally chasing bankruptcy, trying to emulate what's happening in Texas, and you live in Wyoming. Why do you want brisket? What are you doing here? That makes any sense. You're in South Carolina. It shouldn't be that big of a push. Cook what's native to you. Cook what you know. You mentioned the price. I had sweet memories of when brisket was 250 and
yeah,
249.
yeah,
Like I found an old invoice back when it was we've got a deal on it at 179 a pound. I was like, oh my
yeah,
God, I didn't know what I had back then.
yeah. Where is that? Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I I would have mortgaged my house, refinanced
yeah,
my house to just
yeah,
get a deep freezer, buy all I could and just sit on it. Once it's
yeah.
frozen, just like,
That's
oh, here we
literally
go.
what we used to do as well. We just buy a little chest deep freeze, and it was like, wait, Kroger or who's having a sale on pork butts and brisket? Okay, let's go load up on them and just throw them in there and
Oh yeah.
hope.
Oh yeah. I've
Yeah,
I've done that sometimes when our purveyor used to have it for 1.99, but then Kroger's doing their
yeah.
99 cents a pound. I'm
But you
like,
can
oh,
only have two, limit two per person. Like,
oh,
bring your friends. Let's
oh,
go.
literally the whole team would go. I'd ask random people in line, like, "Hey, can I put these two on you?" And just order.
Yeah, yeah,
It got
yeah,
it got to the point where we were doing so many loopholes. They were just like, "Whatever, just go,
yeah,
just
yeah,
go."
yeah.
That's the part of it. Now you said you sort of just fell into this cooking with or cooking for people at when you were in Dakota. Um, did you watch? Were you like a kid in the kitchen type of thing, or where did
Yeah.
it come from?
So my mom was always cooking dishes inside. My dad was always cooking something on the grill. And my brother, who's 8 years older than me, has been an executive chef. He's never not been in food.
Okay.
My whole life. So I've always had someone doing something with food around me the whole time. So and now my brother's traveling the world with a NHRA drag racing team, and he's
Oh
cooking for
wow.
them. He's getting to cook for the top drag racers in the world and travel and get to cook and do what he loves. He's not stuck in a restaurant. He did the restaurant life. He's been in countless restaurants, and he's like, man, being stuck in those walls, it's a whole different world. It's a beast that's hard to tame. So
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing.
yeah,
That's a pretty
yeah,
cool gig. So it's just
yeah.
always been something you've done. You saw your dad man the grill, so you got the best of both. You knew how to make the meats, and you saw mama, so you knew how to make the sides.
Yeah, 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 absolutely, man. And it was grandma's house for every, occasion and every whatever, Thanksgiving, Christmas. There was always an excuse to go. Everybody load up at grandma's, and everybody's bringing some other type of food. But there was always plenty of food, and beans was always something getting cooked every day. My dad did a pot of beans. Um, that's why stir the beans kind of sticks with us. That's like our little motto: is if you don't stir the beans, you're gonna burn them, and no one
That's
wants
right.
burnt beans. So,
No one wants burnt beans. I love that. Stir the beans is a very like poignant. That's
yeah.
got so much depth to it, right? Because it
There's
speaks to.
yeah, there's a few other reasons why that we use that, but we won't go into that on this. I'll tell you in person
All right, I
about
can't wait for
that.
that. For me, on this, I think of it just being mindful, right? Don't forget because it's easy to step away from the pot and forget the little things like the beans, and then you come back. Hey, I don't know anyone who's softening beans from dry to tender in an hour, so you better
Yeah,
pay attention.
well, it's also like being in the restaurant. You can't just go in and just be sitting there stirring the beans. You're making mac sauce. You're trimming meat. You got stuff going in every direction. If you can't maintain all that up here, then you probably don't need to be doing
No,
that.
no. And talking of attention, I do want to ask. We touched on. You said it was unexpected, but the Texas Monthly, that list is like a holy grail. That is a target for a lot of people, and to unintentionally nail a bullseye, like I feel like it's a Steph Curry other end of the court type shot, and you're just like, it might go, and you just all net. Like that had to be
it
something, right? That had to be like, wow.
it was like I got goosebumps like with you talking about it right there because it still makes me feel that way. It makes me proud that we put out a product that was well enough to get noticed by. It wasn't just Daniel. Multiple people are getting to do that and come and visit and try it and love it and continuously love it. To be honest, I didn't know who Daniel was when he came in, and
That's a
he
good thing.
the guy came up and he ordered food, and he ordered a whole bunch of it. And I literally looked at him. I'm like, "You got people coming to meet you to eat with you?" And he's like, "No, I just want to try it all." And then he goes over there and sits down, and I see him like get up and start taking pictures. And I look over at Nicole, my wife, next to me. I'm like, "Did he pay with a card?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Look in the system what his name is." She's like, "That says Daniel Vaughn." And I'm like, "Uh." Oh, okay, all right, and
That's one of
and then he
those
came,
make it pucker moments like, oh,
and it was, and then he came up to the counter and he's like, "You got about 30 minutes. You can talk to me out back." And I'm like, right then, I'm like, "Wait a minute, this is gonna go one way or the other." He's gonna be like, "That was awful," or "This was fantastic," and it went the latter. So it was cool. And then he made multiple visits after that, and he's always been awesome. I know everyone thinks they're a food critic and all that, and it's cool to get input from all over. So, and we were thrilled to be mentioned with all those people. We're friends with most of them, and a lot of people that weren't on it that could have been on it that should have been on it. It was cool. I would honestly say probably getting our write up in Hood County where we live in the newspaper probably got us more foot traffic than any of it did, just because our town is kind of like an older demographic where everyone's reading the newspaper, every day.
yeah, yeah.
So it was cool to get that after we got the Texas Monthly right up for top 25, and then right after our county or our town did a 2-page front page and back of a newspaper. So it was cool, man. It just makes us feel good about doing it. And Daniel's always been awesome with it and gave us the input that we wanted to hear. I was terrible at making sausage our first year in the restaurant, and so
Hmm.
I wasn't doing it. That's the only thing I didn't make in house was a sausage, and I was kind of embarrassed. So when he came in the last time when we got on the list for the honorable mentions, he came up to the counter. He's like, "What'd you do to your sausage?" I was like, "I figured it out," and I started making it. And he goes, "That's one of the best sausages I've had." Hearing him say that dude eats sausages from everywhere.
Uh,
So it was cool. Made me feel good that I finally did something, and I wasn't going to put a piece of product out in our restaurant that I wasn't a fan of, and I wasn't a fan of the sausage that I was trying to produce. So until I figured it out, we just didn't do it, and then finally figured it out. Now everybody's like, we can't get enough of it. So
that's the way. If you're going to put your name on something, you've got to stand by it.
yeah, yeah,
Got to stand by
yeah,
it. That
yeah.
that's
And that
how.
sausage was tricky. I feel like brisket, you can mess it up. Anybody can. It happens. We still do it sometimes, but like turkey's my favorite thing to cook, and if people are like turkey, like who wants turkey? And
I
I'm like,
love
we
turkey.
want we want barbecue and ribs and brisket, and I'm like, okay, well try this.
Yeah,
So, switching it up a little bit. But that sausage, once I made that was a feat that took me literally over a year of working on by myself to do, and And once I figured it out, I loved it.
There's a lot of lessons to learn with making sausage. Don't forget your milk powder. Don't forget your curd salt. Don't forget, and it's really edible. Make sure you pan fry it and taste it before you case everything. Now it's horrible. You waste all.
Yeah.
I wish I try to advise people. I'm like, stop chasing brisket, chase sausage, because there's fewer guys that are doing that, and the guys that are doing it great are making sausages for other places. So if you
But
can,
yeah,
yeah, if you can nail your sausage game early, you're great. I used to make really, really good sausages. Then I met my co-host of the show, Brian, and his sausage was phenomenal. I was like, well, no point in me doing this anymore. He's just got this out of this world in his brain. He's a mad scientist when it comes to this stuff. So
I
pointed
love
and
it. Yeah.
detailed. It's great.
Yeah.
I love it. So you're going to be at sort of what brought all this together, culmination of it, at the Syndicate Smokedown. Is this your first time? Been there numerous times?
Yeah,
Tell
this
me.
will be this will be our third time now. Third year in a row. Both years we've like Nicole and wife has been pregnant, with a baby. So it's been like hot. She's been running her butt off, working the booth with me, and it's not easy sitting there prepping 1,500 samples of something, and I usually don't make it easy. There's usually multiple parts getting all put in together to build that one little boat that we're giving to someone. But she's amazing at it. She's been our backer the whole time, just been the supporter for us. So she's always there to push me to keep rolling when I don't want to stand up on my feet anymore. So
And what is that like having someone in your corner? Because what we do is almost akin to tennis. It's very lonesome if you don't
yeah,
have a good squad
yeah,
and team around you. You know, you got like you said
yeah.
that 3 o'clock, 4 a.m. fire. You're half awake. It's got to get done. It was extra cold that night, so you're fighting, burning more fuel. What is it like to have someone like Nicole in your corner?
It's unmatched. You can't. There's no comparing it. I don't have to ever worry about the booth or our setup looking bad. Everything is what we need, permitting, whatever paperwork we need done. It's like she's been in the restaurant business for 17 years before we did this too. So it it's a blessing to have someone like her because she makes it all look pretty. I just make it taste good. She's like, you worry about making it taste good. I'll take care of the rest of it.
Uh,
So, like, I literally had to get her to help me set this up because I'm just not a tech guy. I don't do this stuff. So I was like, hey, babe, I'm gonna need you in here for a second.
no, I love
So
it.
no, it's awesome. And believe it or not, we've been together for 10 years. And she didn't cook a thing. She didn't touch a kitchen. Um, for the first like 3 4 years, and now I look forward to her cooking. Like I don't know what she did, if she's been sneaking around looking up recipes and stuff, but she cooks great now, and like I don't have to worry about it. She knows I cook all day at the restaurant. When I come home, she's cooking something at home, and she can make all of our sides. I don't have to worry about anything. She can trim the brisket. She can do all of it.
I
So
love it. I love
and
it.
hold a baby the entire time while she's doing it. So
That's a skill. Nicole sounds like a badass. I can't wait to meet her.
she is,
Looking forward.
dude. She is.
That's amazing,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Just a few more here, and I want to know. So, from North Dakota cooks to restaurant recognition to now still being constantly booked while doing catering. The inquiries are coming on. Since you've hit all of those aspects of how you can move around in this craft, success has changed along the way. At least the vision of it has changed. What does success look like for you now?
Success for us, I say that for us and the family, is getting to continue to get to do this. Anytime we get to back up to the truck to our trailer and hook up to it and go park it somewhere, or just load up our truck and go set up at an event and go set up a buffet line or whatever it is. That's as long as we can keep doing that. I'm not in this to retire. I don't. I know that's a hard thing to do, is just to retire and barbecue. Like I'm in it to get to cook and get to do what I love with friends and family and people and new people and forever. Like, you got to eat. You can't just stop eating. Everybody's got to
Sure.
eat.
Everyone's got to eat.
Um, that would be success to me, is get to do what we continue to do, the festivals, get to travel and cook food at different random places. Getting to cook for. this past like 3 years, we've got to cook for musicians and people that I grew up listening to nonstop on the radio, and now I'm getting to like shake hands and cook with them and sit and talk to them and feed them, and it's insane. It's just cool to get to. It sounds silly, but it's awesome. Like I think it's awesome to get to do that. So
No, no, it's very cool. I'll never forget the first time I met DDP years and years ago and cooking for him. And then he hit me up like having a conversation and a friendship with someone that used to watch us again. That's crazy. And
yeah, yeah,
I told him like the 12-year-old me would never believe this.
yeah, yeah,
He would never
yeah,
think this is an option. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
my standardized test or whatever I took in middle school, high school said I was going to be a blackjack dealer or a diesel mechanic. You know, so I think
yeah,
I'm leaps away from blackjack, maybe a little closer to a diesel mechanic
yeah,
now, but
yeah, yeah.
it's a fun life we get to live. It's amazing memories we get to have, and I just want to know what are your thoughts on the future? You said you guys made the educated decision and conscious decision to close doors, and not a lot of people do. They have it closed on them versus closing them. Do you see yourself wanting to go back to the brick and mortar, or do you just plan on building this what you've got now even greater to where you don't necessarily need to? Maybe just get a part, build out a commissary, or get a space in there and just keep building that way. There's here in Atlanta, there's a lot of great caterers who do not have a brick and mortar at all.
Correct. One of our best friends, Kristen and Steven Rosler, I talk to him all the time, and I'm like, dude,
Rob's
he's like,
Barbecue
huh?
of their barbecues, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Roslers.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They're amazing people. Just him and their daughters, they're awesome people. But he's also been someone I've called. I'll be like, man, what what all are you doing just in your food trailer? He's like, everything. And I'm like, well, that's what we're gonna be doing again now. It's like switching back to it and like just being being able to have the outlet to call people and reach out to them. And so the weekend after Syndicate, I'm going to help him at Lone Star at AT&T.
I'll see
You
you
know,
there.
it's awesome because like I'm getting to cook with and help with people that I looked up to and that I've been following in barbecue, and I'm like now I'm getting calls from them and asked to help, and like it just makes me feel like I'm doing something right. You know, I've made some pretty silly decisions in my life growing up, and still got a lot of growing up to do, but I think this one that we made here, just the family and just the people it brings into your life, you can't beat it. You can't ask for a better group. So.
No, I wanna taper us off and wrap us up by asking, someone's listening to this. They're kicking around the idea. They're tooling around in the backyard a little bit. They think they might have something. What is your advice to them? What would you tell your current self now in this position to the guy who stepped into North Dakota and was about to make this jump? What would that advice look and sound like?
Man, do it. Don't ever not do something, especially if it's something that's ticking in your brain and's been doing it. Make the jump. You won't know until you do it. But also don't go into it empty-handed. I would say we went into it. We tried to do it on our own and not have any backers and not have someone invest in it and do all that. And it was hard. We had people offer it, but we decided to decline it and just say, hey, if we can't do this ourselves, we probably don't need to be doing it.
Mm,
But there's other options. There's other options like the catering, you know. So the bills and the stuff that come on top of that building, you know, it was endless. It was just endless something always. You know, it's like like buying a boat. You're every time you use that boat, you're gonna be paying for something, and it was the same on top of you know your meat your meat every week that you have to buy. That's just the meat, and that's just an absurd number. You know, that's
yeah.
not your dry goods and your paper products and all the stuff that go along with it. You know,
Your
and
disposables,
I'm not
yeah.
complaining about it. It's just a lot of stuff that I didn't think about when we jumped in. I'm like jumping in there like, yeah, let's do this. We're gonna start cooking. Yeah, I'll fire up the smoker right now and cook a brisket so we can sell it tomorrow. And it just wasn't that way. You know, it took us 10 months to remodel the restaurant once we bought the turnkey building. You know, it
Mhm.
wasn't turnkey. It was go in
Turnkey.
and rip everything out and start from scratch and get new equipment and get smokers and Yeah, it was
Uh,
so much, and then it was like, okay, I think we're ready, and she's like, no, we need this permit, the gas, the fire marshal. It was one thing after another every single week, and some of those weeks, we'd have a killer Sunday because we were the only restaurant open in Toller at the time, but Thursday, Friday would be nothing. It was kind of like, oh great, Sunday was great, but we didn't do anything on Thursday and Friday, so it kind of just takes away Sunday. What
wash, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that we don't want to keep doing that like over and over and over, and it's like, but also don't let anyone tell you don't do that. You can't do that because I had a whole bunch of people that are like, yeah, right, Dustin, we've known you your whole life. You're not gonna have a restaurant, and I'm like, okay, watch me. And we did. And then it was like, boom, top 25 list. And then it was, the Hood County newspaper. And then just cool little write ups here and there and
Yeah,
getting invited to the festivals and then getting invited to more festivals. Like meeting Andy and his wife, that was something huge for us because that got us going all over the place now.
there
So
it is. No,
very,
that
very
definitely
thankful
does.
for them and their friendship. So
I love that. I
yeah.
think business is just like you said, just like a boat, because boat stands for bust out another thousand, and and it's a lot. I try to not warn against. I try to educate. Hey, if you do want to open a brick and mortar, do this for me. Said go out to dinner tonight. Go to a restaurant tonight, and every single thing your hand touches, write it down because we help people consult and people come back and you'd be surprised how little failed to exercise. And I'm like, how did you get in the restaurant? They're like, oh, we went through the front door. I was like, was there a door there? I was like, yeah. Did you I don't see that on your list. Oh, well, we just
Yeah.
assumed. It's like you can assume because you may get
Yeah.
a restaurant and you've got to repair that handle. You may have
Uh
to
huh.
repair the hinges. You got to swap out the locks. You
Yep.
got to make sure the glass is clean or frosted. So you got to put that on there. Where'd you sit? Did you stand and eat? No, we sat. Oh, well, you got to get chairs. You got to get a
Yeah.
table. Those tables may be used. You might have to balance out the legs or get a new top or
Yeah.
refinish it. And once
Yep.
people start thinking like that, it's quickly,
Yeah.
oh crap,
Yeah.
there's a lot of money I have to spend before I even get to cooking.
A whole lot. And then on top of that, we had like coming soon on our front door for like the 10 months that we were remodeling. So then we're getting like hate mail sent to us on Facebook and Instagram like, how long is coming soon gonna
Soon.
be? Like what
Coming soon, never.
Yeah, coming soon when it's right for us.
Exactly. Coming soon-ish.
Yeah,
Ish.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
it
You
is.
know what? I'm just gonna take coming soon off the
There
door,
it
and then
is.
it's just a guess. So um
Maybe here. No.
yeah, yeah. But
No,
no, do it. It opened up so many doors us being in that restaurant. Met so many new people, friends for life, on all different aspects. Not just people that want to come and eat food, people that we go and hang out with now, and we go and sit in their backyard and hang out with them, and it's just it's awesome. And we still have people here in Granbury. So my hometown is Granbury, and that's kind of where we're based out of now because Toller is still Hood County.
okay.
Toller's the next town over though, where the restaurant was. So we live in Granbury, and just it's just awesome, man. The support here in Granbury, just getting calls and people every week we'll get a call from someone. Hey, can you come and bring your trailer? Or hey, do you want to cook? And we got our neighbors that drive by here and stop, and they're like, "Can you throw a brisket on for me?" Like what?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
it's it's cool, man. So yeah, it's a
No, I love it. I love it. Dustin, I can't thank you enough for taking some time to sit and talk
yeah, man.
smoke with me. How can the people find you? How can they support you? How can they keep up to date with what you and Nicole are doing and what the business has got going?
Yeah. So we got our Instagram and our Facebook page. She's working on our website now. She's kind of a jack of all trades. She's working on the website, but
All right.
Facebook and Instagram, and that will let you know where we're going to be setting up, what we're doing each week. Right now, every Sunday we're setting up and doing crawfish, but we do on the days that aren't Sunday, we're trying to do barbecue any of those days. So when we're not booked with the trailer, we'll be looking to get booked. So yeah,
I love it. I love it.
yeah, yeah,
I absolutely love it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining and listening to the latest episode of This Week in Barbecue, the Barbecue Focus podcast with hot news and even hotter takes. If you could do us a favor, see that little thing over there, give us 6 stars. If you don't see six, we'll take 5. And as always, please be kind to one another. The world needs it.
yeah, buddy.